Riot Games has 100 million reasons to clean up their workplace practices. We'll talk about the recent court settlement with former employees.
And we take a look at 2021's biggest news, as well as a special look ahead at the year 2022, right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Gaming News Weekly. We're into the new year. We are the best weekly video game news show that there has ever been, and we're here to talk about all that video game news that you need to know. My name is Erock the Red. I am joined, as always, by Full Clip. How are you in the new year? 2022, refreshed? You ready to go?
Oh, nicely rested. Lots of gaming under my belt. I'm good to go. How about you?
I'm fantastic. I had a wonderful week off. Had a great holiday. Got some new games, and yeah, it was good. Did you get anything new? You been playing anything new, or?
Yeah. First game that I would mention, I think we both played a little bit of One Hand Clapping.
Yes.
Interesting, concept for a game.
Yeah, so for the people that don't know, basically it's a platformer, but you have to sing to do these different puzzles or create things to climb on. You don't have to be a great singer. I think you and I will both agree that it was just kind of a fun new mechanic. You don't have to be Taylor Swift, the best singer there is.
Your video, you were getting into the gangster rap. When I did it with my wife there, I was going for just tones, ooh. Yeah,
I was trying to find something. Pardon me, that's not me peeing, that's me pouring a beer, in case you heard that. I was trying to find something, because I don't know, songs or how to sing at all. I'm just let me find something that, gets this going where I don't have to just keep, all I do was singing, what I was doing. I'm and I'm moving this way, so.
Yeah, it's a really cool, interesting puzzle kind of game like that. And the second one, sort of in the same vein of, figuring out puzzles that I played was Scarf, which I think is a newer release. Pretty cool. It's all about having this animate scarf that's around your neck, and it's your companion through this whole journey. You're figuring out these puzzles, and as you go, you start to learn these new things that the scarf can do for you, act as a rope so you can swing through hard to reach places. Nice. The scarf can act as a glider and things like that. But the game overall, it looks great. It feels great. It's sort of reminiscent of playing Spyro back in the day, or even with the remastered Spyros. You've got the puzzles. It's a platformer, a 3D platformer.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen some video of it. It looks really fun. You're enjoying it?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those games where I'm just gonna have to slowly go back and do level after level. I want to complete it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I got Guardians of the Galaxy for Christmas, so I started that. Haven't put too much time into it, but I am enjoying it so far. The way that it plays out, where you can control your teammates, it's I'm just starting to get the hang of it. In the heat of the moment, it's tough to switch between them, but I'm definitely picking up on it, who does what the best and that sort of thing. And right now, so far I'm maybe 2 hours in, and the story is already great. There's this thing where you have these huddles where if you can encourage, everybody huddles up, and if you could cheer them on and do it right, everybody gets a special damage boost and stuff like that, and then it plays this awesome 80s music. That game is fantastic. And then another one I started playing was actually we talked about it on our last episode. It was when I just started playing Spiritfarer. It's it's on Game Pass, and it's a 2D game where you have this boat. It's kind of like Animal Crossing-ish on a boat where you have to manage people and farm and create things, but all these people are basically they're people from the real world that are you're carrying them, you're guiding them into the afterlife. They've passed on.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so it's real cutesy looking. But it's exactly like, it's the perfect thing, like when I'm sitting there, like just after eating like a million calories and just like vegging out in front of the television, playing a game. So
yeah,
it's been good. I've been enjoying my time off, but gotta get back to work, back to the grind. After this week. So, all right, shall we get into our new release from last week?
Yeah, sounds good. New release.
All right, so let's talk about it. We had one new release from last week. This game is called Lacuna. I really like. It was a stretch to like find. There's nothing that came out. This one looked really cool, so I wanted to talk about it. Actually, it came out on PC earlier in 2021, and it's out right now. It came out on December 21st for PS4 and Xbox One, and December 28th on the Nintendo Switch. And this is a really cool looking sci-fi noir. It's a point and click adventure game, but with not. They're trying to get away with those point and click adventure tropes. So this one, it's more of like a platforming thing, but you still have to find items in your environment and use those to solve puzzles. And they don't even call them puzzles. They call them like you have to these story-driven mysteries is what the game is calling them. So they don't want anything that's going to slow down the game. But yeah, it's a detective game and you're solving a mystery where your choices matter and you have these conversations with people. I love those story games. This one's got like this beautiful like 2D kind of pixel art like sprite sci-fi world.
Nice.
So this one immediately went on my list of things to check out. Right now I'm playing so much stuff, so I'll keep an eye out for a sale. I think it's only $15 or $20. I think you get on PC right now for $8, $10. But it got great reviews and it looks really cool and the setting looks great. So yeah, I definitely want to check that out. I'm always into like the point and click adventure games. But if they are too slow, it does turn me off. I end up like falling asleep as I'm playing them. Yeah. It's never good. All right, well that was it. That was our new release from the past week. Next week's probably not going to be any better. But we are starting to pick up, getting into the bigger games coming out, and we'll talk about that later in the show. All the things coming out now that we're in the year of 2022. All right, well let's move on. Let's talk about our news of the week. All right, I had some fun announcements come out in the past 2 weeks, I guess, since we've last been here. First up, let's talk about Remedy Entertainment partnering up with Tencent to make a new co-op multiplayer game. It's codename Vanguard. That's all we really know as far as the name. But they had my attention at Remedy doing one of these games. I love everything that Remedy's putting out. They did the Control game. Did you play Control?
No, I don't.
I recommend it to everybody. It's a third-person action game where you have it's all these powers that you have: telepathy, telekinesis.
Okay, yeah, I think I actually picked that up from I picked it up on Epic Games, one of the giveaways a few days ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't played it yet, though, but
it's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's so good. There are many scenes, like when people talk about gaming moments that resonate, that kind of stick with you. Control has like 2 of them where I played it and I was like, holy shit. Like it was just really, really cool stuff. But yeah, definitely check that out as soon as you can. I guarantee you're going to like it.
Yeah, we'll do. So I'm a little more familiar with Tencent in that partnership than Remedy. So they were actually the ones who were responsible for Call of Duty Mobile. And I'm wondering, at this point, it said that they're going to be bringing this new game that they're developing with Remedy to the Asian markets. I'm wondering, as a PvE shooter, if it's going to look something like that. And it's even stranger that their partnership with Call of Duty exists and they're codenaming this thing Vanguard and bringing it out to the public.
It's funny. Yeah, it is. So the Vanguard name dates back to like 2018 when Remedy started. They started a team called Team Vanguard. So technically, I don't know who was first. But Yeah, so what this game is going to be, it's going to be a free-to-play co-op PvE shooter that combines Remedy's narrative expertise and action gameplay in an immersive multiplayer experience. That's not from me, that's from them. That was their quote. But they're using the Unreal Engine. It's going to be on PC and consoles. And then, yeah, like you said, so the plan with this partnership, I thought it was really interesting. They're going to, like, both companies will share the costs of developing the game for their territories. So like you said, Tencent's going to have the Asian market, and then Remedy will have basically everywhere else. But then they'll split the revenue. So, and then on top of that, Tencent has the worldwide rights to develop the mobile version. So that's, and then they'll split the revenues from that. But yeah, I thought that was really, really cool how they're going to do it. Like, in addition to Control, so they're making more games. Remedy's making more games in this Control universe. So not only that, they're making Alan Wake 2, and the Crossfire X campaign is Remedy's doing. And then there's like another game that they announced that there's not much information. So Remedy is a busy studio, and it'll be interesting to see what this game is, what this game becomes,
Yep.
Yeah, so only time will tell. It's very early on in the whole thing. It's right now they're just kind of getting everything, the ideas put together and that sort of thing. So we will keep you updated on this as we get more information. But anytime there's a new free to play shooter, like, I get excited. What's going to be the next Apex? That's always what it's on everybody's mind. So, and now with Remedy and Tencent, both big names in the gaming industry, it'll be something to keep an eye on. Let's talk about Riot Games. They recently settled a discrimination lawsuit for $100 million. Now, this lawsuit was from a 2018 class action suit by current and former Riot employees, stating that coming from basically harassment and discrimination for their female employees. So the suit described an environment where male employees made derogatory sexual comments about female colleagues and passed them over for promotion, creating a company-wide unwritten policy and practice of preferring men to women in the hiring, promotion, and compensation of its employees. So initially, Riot agreed to a $10 million settlement back in 2019, and then the courts basically said, no, that's not good enough. And now they're doing, it's $100 million. That's going to go to, $80 million is going to go to the people named in the suit, and then $20 million to legal fees. And I was like, damn, $20 million, dude. Like, that's crazy that 20% of this thing is going to the lawyers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just had sticker shock at that $100 million. I mean, that's $1/10 billion. And growing up 20 years ago with the gaming industry, it is impossible to think that a gaming company would have $100 million to give away. Or not give away, but, hand over in a lawsuit. So it's in multiple ways, this is just a marker for where we are today. And it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's... like that, that's chump change in the League of Legends world, you know?
Yeah, well, this is a lawsuit in California where they take these things very, very seriously. The California board, who was actually over this lawsuit, I think representing the former female employees, said that they could be eligible for $400 million. So this is just the settlement number of $100 million. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. I don't know where that $400 million would have come from, or like where, but the $100 million, it seems good. Hopefully the people are compensated for their everything that Riot has done. So yeah, it's just another one of these lawsuits of many that we're going to see the outcomes to in the next coming year with the kind of the change of way things are being handled in the video game world, the hopeful change that is taking place. But yeah, good for them, and hopefully Riot gets their shit together and stops being D-bags. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about another billion-dollar corporation. They're just like us. So Microsoft, they held the Halo Infinite, their first Halo Championship Series tournament, and Microsoft could not get enough Series X consoles to have this tournament. How crazy is that, dude? Like, wild. It's not even just us that can't get them. The manufacturers of the system can't get enough. So yeah, they had to use retail and development consoles for this tournament. So I just thought that was ridiculous.
You'd think that they would have been able to snaggle something there. Just delay a shipment that's going to Walmart or something, but I don't know.
Oh man,
who knows
damn scalpers.
Yeah. Well, they could have paid the scalper price, and then they really would have been like one of us.
Exactly. Yeah, you got Microsoft out here buying their own product back for like 5 times the markup. But yeah, this tournament took place in December 17th through the 19th. There were 272 teams competing in this thing, and ultimately Cloud9 won the tournament. They took home $140,000 of the $350,000 prize pool. And this is just the first of a series of these to come. So, maybe they'll start stockpiling a few more of those Series X's so that they don't have to worry about it. But yeah, that is like the probably the most crazy, silliest news to come out of that the manufacturers can't get enough of them. All right, and that's it for our news. It was it's a slow time of year as far as news. Now that was 2 weeks. We had 3 things over 2 weeks. So, there were a few other things that came out. New PlayStation Plus titles were announced and that sort of thing. But I wanted to take this time to just have a quick look back at the biggest news in the video game industry from last year, and then talk about what we're looking forward to most in 2022. So I wrote down a list of some of the biggest news stories. Not so much, I guess just to me. I don't know. You could add yours and after we talk about these, but let's see if you agree. First up, I think the biggest news story that came out of the year was the industry practices and hopefully the change that is going to be coming in the next few years. So I'm talking about initially in the beginning of the year was more about like crunch. There was a lot of talk about the way that these game companies manage their deadlines. So we had like Riot, Ubisoft, and Quantic Dream all get targeted for making their employees work like, many like 100-hour work weeks, like and just working super hard, and it not being a good work environment, especially for these people with families. And then that changed and became, now we're talking about harassment, we're talking about women in the workplace, gender, and it all came from mostly Blizzard, that whole thing with the Cosby suite and like just a bunch of these sexual predators using their power within the company, and then Bungie had a little bit of a thing. So that was, I think, probably like one of the biggest things that we talked about like regularly, right? Like every week there was like something new about this coming out. So absolutely. Hopefully we don't talk about it as much in 22. Hopefully we talk about, like I said, the court cases and that sort of thing, kind of putting an end to this. But who knows? It doesn't look like it's going to go away. But the practices, I think, are starting to change for the better. So we'll see.
Well, hopefully this will serve as sort of a, it'll show people that you can't get away with it. The world's not the way it was 10 years ago. Exactly.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think the other biggest news was the chip shortage. That so it was created by the pandemic. Initially, like when the factories in Southeast Asia couldn't run. They had to shut down due to the coronavirus, and it created like a bottleneck. And now like everything needs these chips. Any computer-based thing, any smart product needs these chips, and now they just can't get them, including next-gen consoles that we've talked about, trying to get these these new consoles and where we're going to go from here. So I guess the one good thing that came out of that is more manufacturers kind of being created for these chips. Even so far as saying, like, the United States is going to start, they got a plant coming up in Texas that is going to start creating these microchips. And like I said, you and I, dude, we got to start making microchips. This is our big money-making scheme.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that the console shortage could go on till September of this year.
Yeah, I believe it. It's just, as far as, like, getting these chips, even with, supply chain stuff across the board, it definitely doesn't seem like it's going to be letting up, and especially now that we're seeing another rise in COVID across the country. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we'll be here. We'll talk about it, and hopefully it won't be too big of an issue. Another big news thing, same thing as in 2020. 2021 also brought big delays as far as games go in the gaming industry. It's a combination of COVID, the industry changes that we talked about earlier, not wanting to have these harsh deadlines. And then I think one of the biggest ones is these companies not trying to be the next Cyberpunk. They don't want to create the next Cyberpunk. No one wants to put out this unfinished, broken game, so they're just going to delay it. And I think that's a smart move. There's so much stuff out there to play. If it's not ready, definitely delay it. But we saw Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, Hogwarts Legacy, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Saints Row, Elden Ring, Overwatch 2, Diablo 4. That's just a handful of the ones that we saw get delayed. So, yeah, it's probably gonna let up, but it's hopefully they start figuring out what needs to be done to get these games to us when they say they will, or just don't announce a release date. I think that's probably the easiest way to go. Don't say.
I wonder if.
Go ahead.
If CD Projekt Red never, gave us 3 dates, would we be upset about the quality of the product that they did release?
Yeah, and I think that was a big problem too, was that they just kept changing the date, and then they felt like they'd be assholes if they changed it another time when they should have. It would have they would have rebounded if they put out a quality game. But a lot of these games that I did mention hopefully will be coming out this year. We'll see. Only time will tell, but as long as we don't get another debacle that Cyberpunk, then all is well, I say.
Yeah.
Another big news piece, Apple versus Epic. This this whole trial, it did finally resolve with no real clear winner. But basically this was Fortnite trying to get around Apple getting a 30% cut of their sales. So they did some shady stuff. They both sued each other, and then ultimately the court decided in Apple's favor in 9 out of 10 of the counts. But on one of those counts, they did force them to basically add in links for out of app purchases. So they were really upset about that. That was a win for everybody else, but I think everybody lost. Especially if you're a Fortnite fan. Can't play you can't play your game on your phone. Can't buy your your dancing kangaroo emote. I don't know. Yeah. I don't really know what Fortnite is. I've never played it.
That's pretty much nail on the head right there.
Yeah. So, all right. Another one I thought was interesting, the Steam Deck. That announcement, I thought that was a big surprise in 2021. That's basically, you can play your PC games on the go. It's like Nintendo Switch, but super powerful and better. The pre-orders flew. As soon as it was announced, everybody wanted it. Had a higher price point too, but that did get delayed. That's coming out in February of 2022 now. So hopefully we'll see what that's all about. But yeah, I'm still like, I really want one, but I'm like, do I really need another way to play video games? I have a lot of different ways, so
Yeah.
I don't know. We've talked about it before. You're not planning on getting a Steam Deck, right?
Don't think so. No,
Yeah.
I'm cool with like the big screen for now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then the last big news piece that I thought was a great part of 2021, the return of Lucasfilm Games. I thought that was so that was a big part of my childhood growing up. Now, we talked about it before. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, but I remember playing. So there were so many Nintendo Star Wars games and like Super Nintendo. And then in 2012, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, they shelved the gaming studio and gave EA, like, if you want to do something with Star Wars here, EA, go make something. And then in earlier in 2021, they announced that Lucasfilm Games was back, and they also announced a new Indiana Jones game and then a ton of new Star Wars games. So, like, again, not a huge Star Wars fan, but I am a big Indiana Jones fan, and I'm super excited for that game. But just to have, like, open a game and have that Lucasfilm Games thing go across the screen, it's like, I mean, that was my childhood, playing all these games that from that studio. So I was really excited that came back.
Did you play the lightsaber dueling game on PlayStation 1?
No, I
cool.
didn't.
It's on a demo disc. I only played the demo of it. But I remember,
Really?
I know exactly what you're talking about with that big Lucasfilm logo coming across the screen at the beginning.
Yeah, PS1, that was a big, like, there were a ton of, like, Lucasfilm games on PlayStation 1, I remember. But yeah, like, any of those Star Wars games were fantastic. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, hopefully, now that it's out of EA's hands, hopefully we'll see something that's not just like a Battlefront, or what is it, Star Wars Battlefront, basically just a Battlefield reskin.
Yeah, exactly. And then they add lightsabers and some powers and stuff to it. I enjoyed my times playing those. I was never very good at it. Like, we were talking about Battlefield before. Like, I suck at Battlefield games. But, yeah. And then I did just read recently that new Star Wars game that we talked about, they're not expecting that until like 2024, 2025 now. Man. So... Yeah. They had something happened with the process that, like, really jammed them up, and I don't know if they have to go back and redo stuff or what. But yeah, what did I miss any big ones on your radar?
Not really. I mean, one thing that we've never talked about yet that I think is gonna keep coming up, and we'll eventually have to get into it. The whole NFT thing in video games.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of articles. I do not feel qualified to talk on NFTs.
Dude, that's exactly why I didn't even bring it up. I was like, that's a big thing. That was a big thing in 2021, and that's going to be a big thing in 2022. But I know nothing about these non-fungible tokens. That's as far as I go with an NFT. I know what it stands for. But, yeah, everybody's trying to jam those into gaming, and it's going to be the next, like how EA does with this, where you buy all these skins and stuff like that. It's going to be that. But now people think that just because they're NFTs that there's this rarity where people have something great that they want. But is it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. In the beginning, we were talking about like indie developers and developers who only came out with NFT games. But now at the end of the year, we're talking about the big guys. We're talking about EA themselves talking about NFTs in games, and some backlash for some developers who want to do it. And if I read this right, I think Steam banned all NFT games from their platform.
Really?
And I think maybe it was like Epic or somebody else, maybe GOG, like openly accepted them all. So nobody really knows quite where all of it is, where we're landing.
Yeah. And as soon as someone tells me what an NFT is, then we could have more conversation about it. But yeah, that was a good one. And I thought that I almost included, but I'm like, dude, I don't even want to get into the weeds on this one. I don't even know. But yeah, that's definitely one. All right, well, let's do a quick rundown. Let's talk about the three major game studio or game console people: Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. So Nintendo, their 2021 consisted of, they got the new OLED model, So everybody wanted the Nintendo Switch Pro. Didn't get that. Got the OLED model. We saw N64 games and Sega Genesis games going on to their Nintendo Online service. And the Mario movie was announced. Those are the big takeaways for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Anything else Nintendo based that you could think of?
It's a good year for Animal Crossing, but I think that's technically like 2019.
Exactly. Yeah. That that came out. But yeah, I thought about that too. I mean,
yeah, 2020. Sorry, I'm already
2020.
a year
Yeah,
behind.
you're jumping way ahead. But yeah, no, it was that was a big one. But yeah, that just continued its leading. So yeah, and PlayStation, they their big thing was they got crushed by scalpers. Like not a good thing for Sony fans. But they acquired tons of studios. Housemarque, Nix's Software, Bluepoint, Firesprite, and Valkyrie, all acquired by PlayStation to create content for specifically for Sony PlayStation. So that was like their big thing. That was their big year coming up with, getting these studios. Other than that, like it wasn't a good year for PlayStation in terms of like, they didn't have any huge killer games or, it was like their biggest thing was like people trying to find PlayStations and not being able to get them. So I thought they had a rough year. And then we talk about Xbox, and dude, just the accomplishments that Xbox had this year. So Game Pass continued to just be amazing with these first day AAA titles, and then Halo Infinite came out, and not only that, but they had the free surprise like multiplayer thing, which was huge. Forza Horizon was one of the best games of the year. They acquired Bethesda, and then they crushed like cloud gaming. Like they figured out cloud gaming on phones, iPads, and now on their consoles, where you don't have to download a game, you just play it right through the cloud. And it's even from when it came out earlier this year to now, like the quality of the gameplay through the cloud is I already think it's much better than it was earlier this year. So for me, my humble opinion, Xbox, dude, had an amazing year in 2021. And they just crushed their competition with those things that I mentioned. What are your thoughts?
100% agree on that. If for nothing else, just the Bethesda acquisition is huge. Yep. And some of the things that we covered about, console exclusivity on there. And the Game Pass. Yeah, I was very, very impressed with what they've done with the Game Pass. Seems like 2021 was the year of Xbox.
Yep, absolutely. I was wondering what you were going to say, but I think there's no way to, look at it any differently. It's just like you said, that Bethesda and Game Pass. That's all you needed to rule the video game world. All right, well, let's move on from last year and let's talk about this year. Let's talk about 2022. What are some of the biggest titles that you're looking forward to getting into in the new year?
Grand Theft Auto 5 and Skyrim.
Oh boy!
I don't know if they're going to do Skyrim again, but I know we do have Grand Theft Auto 5 set to release again.
True, that is true. Oh my goodness! Yeah, they just did the Skyrim the anniversary edition, so I think we're good on that until maybe the 15th or the 20th anniversary. So, but yeah, GTA 5 again. Yeah, get hyped.
Yeah, well. One of the ones that not the biggest title. I don't think we know enough about it. A lot of these that I think both of us are going to have on our lists, we'll have to wait until we're much closer to launch to see what's come of this. Mm-hmm. Arc Raiders really got my attention during its reveal. It's the one that's sort of, I would describe it as like Dark Souls in space, but with the theme of like wood-paneled Atari.
Yes. Yeah, that game looks it looks insane. Now, what is that going to be out for? I think it's on this list here. Is that coming out? Is that just is that going to be on everything? Oh yeah, it is.
I'm not sure about
PS5, Xbox X, and PC. So yeah, that comes out in 2022. No date, but yeah, that game looks dope. It's the X Dice developers. They worked on Battlefield and Star Wars Battlefront. So yeah, it's gonna be a fantastic game, and it's a co-op game. I'm always looking for good co-op shooters. I think we're seeing more and more of them. So yeah, that's a good one. Definitely a good one. What else you got?
Well, Deathverse Let It Die. I mentioned when we talked about when this game was released or announced. That's the word I'm looking for. I played a lot of Let It Die on the PlayStation 4. I didn't realize it was exclusive, but I believe Deathverse is as well to the PS4, PS5. So I'm gonna have to pull myself away from the PC for a little while, play that on the PS4.
That's their free to play, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's dripping with style is what I love about that game.
Yeah. I remember when we looked at that announced video, it was just like it looks very stylish. And yeah, hopefully they could nail the gameplay on that and make a nice complete package.
Yep. And let's see, Starfield is going to come out toward the end of the year. November 11th is its scheduled release date. But like you said earlier, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Starfield is by Bethesda.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of torn there because we already had the game Outer Worlds or Outer Planets.
Yep, Outer Worlds.
You familiar with that?
I've never played it.
Yeah, it was developed by like former Bethesda employees or something like that, and it plays exactly like a Fallout or a Elder Scrolls game in a lot of ways. So I'm not sure if Starfield is the game that in some ways we've already experienced, or if it's going to be different enough to warrant picking up.
Yeah, I mean, like you said when we were talking about like Skyrim still being here, have you talked about a Bethesda RPG? Of course, it's gonna be good, like regardless of anything. And now that they're using a new engine, hopefully not as buggy as some of their previous RPGs, but yeah, gonna be fantastic. It's one of the reasons that I need to get like an Xbox or a PC so I could play Starfield. But yeah, that one's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, one we both talked about in the past, Vampire the Masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks interesting. Was that supposed to be free to play?
I think so. I think the multiplayer part of it is. I could be. Let me see what's on my list. I could be thinking of a different game altogether, but I do believe that one was a free-to-play multiplayer where you're vampires and you have to win the vampire party, right?
Yeah, looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, those are another great game. Yeah, definitely.
Those are the ones that I'm most excited about, but I'm sure you've got. I know at least one that's on your list.
Dude, I have a bunch. Like I was trying to just have like 5 because I was like I don't want to go overboard. So I'm not even gonna talk about Horizon Forbidden West or God of War Ragnarok because everybody's excited for those. And the one you're talking about, yes, Elden Ring. Is that the one you were thinking of?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yes, Elden Ring. That very very excited for that. That comes out February 25th. On PS5, Xbox X, PS4, and Xbox One. This is the new FromSoft game. Yeah, it looks amazing. It's got George R.R. Martin, who collaborated in the story. The gameplay looks dope. It looks super hard and super awesome. I'm so excited. February 25th, cannot get here soon enough. The other one that I've talked about a couple times, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. That one went from like, I completely wrote it off to being like, I am so excited for this game to come out. That comes out March 25th, PS5, Xbox X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Now that's from Gearbox, and it is set like in the Borderlands world, Borderlands adjacent. And what it is, it's like a Dungeons and Dragons inspired like spin-off. You're playing a tabletop game with Tiny Tina, and like you have these ridiculous classes, just like this storytelling by Tiny Tina where like you're playing a D&D game and she's gonna like come up with this crazy stuff. But it's got like Will Arnett, Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes. So it's just got like a big cast of actors, and it looks fun and funny. And it's a co-op game. Like, I always talk about looking for the next fun co-op game to play with my friends, and this is going to be it, man.
Yeah.
Another one
I didn't know about the... I was going to say, I didn't know about the talent behind it. All the big names that are going to be in it, but that game looks awesome.
Yeah, and then like Ashley Birch, she's like the female lead in every video game. She's going to be Tiny Tina, so she's back as that. So, yeah, there's a bunch of names in there. And then another one I'm really excited for. Seen a few trailers for it, Forspoken. I've talked about it before, and it's like... So this comes out spring of 2022 for PS5 and PC. And this is like a magic game, and it's got like this really cool traversal system, like a parkour type thing. All the characters look great. The visuals are phenomenal, unlike anything I've seen. And then on top of that, it's got Gary Whitta and Amy Hennig writing it. Gary Whitta he wrote for Rogue One and a bunch of other video games, and Amy Hennig did the Uncharted series. We've talked about her previously. So they have some writing credits on it. So yeah, I super psyched for that one. That's like it's like a role-playing game. I don't know if I said that. It's like an open world role-playing game, but yeah, that one comes out in the spring. And then another one, Marvel's The Midnight Suns. Do you remember seeing this one? Or have I talked about it at all? Yes, this one is a it's a strategy game, like a tactics game. It's from the studio Firaxis. They do like XCOM and those games. So it's like an XCOM game, but it's with Marvel superheroes. So you customize your character and put them in there with these specific group of Marvel superheroes from this Midnight Suns comic book thing, where it's like these magic-based superheroes, and it's just these tactics games, and I never like tactics games, ever, and I'm gonna force myself to play this one just because it's this Marvel game, and I'm really hoping that I could come around on it and like it, but it also has like this card system in it. Similar to like Slay the Spire. I don't know if you ever played that, but it's like you collect these cards and each one has like these abilities and that sort of thing. And I love Slay the Spire, so I'm hoping that it's going to be something similar to that. And then for my fifth one, I couldn't decide between Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So I'm going to say both of those. Both DC Studios games. Gotham Knights is going to be like a Batman, like the Dark or whatever, the Batman series, the Arkham games.
I know what you're talking about. Arkham Knights, Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, Arkham Asylum. So it's going to have that sort of combat, but slightly different, updated. And then the Justice League or Suicide Squad Justice League one, that's going to be like more comedic, and it's got like it's a co-op player type game. So yeah, those are the ones I'm really excited for. It's going to be a big year, a lot of good stuff coming out. So,
got a couple honorable mentions.
Ooh, yeah.
We have Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 is the follow-up to the original. Came out in 2015.
Yeah,
that's your like parkour zombie game. So it's a little bit different than most of the zombie games out there. But look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. That's probably not the name, and most places are calling it that, but I found out that it's actually just an untitled sequel. And as I remember, I don't think there's ever a Zelda game that has like a number 2 or anything in it. So that's probably safer to say.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge game. I'm not a huge Zelda fan, but that game's going to be huge.
Yeah. And that's all I have.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be a big year, 2022. If there's any games that we missed that are on your list that you're looking forward to, let us know in the comments. And, maybe that's something I don't even know about. It could be something really cool. All right, let's move on to our next segment. Let's talk about a brand new content creator of the week. All right, this week it's more of a... I mean, it's a recognition of quality work, but it's also a plea for this person to create more content. This person is Jack Rope. Now, you and I both discovered him at, I think, the exact same time. He put out this amazing Star Wars Battlefront Eminem mashup video, and it was so good. Like, it was, and then I looked at his page, and he's only got 4 videos, and each one is fantastic. They're all the same idea, but they're so well done. They made me laugh out loud. But yeah, Jack Rope, he's been on Fruit Lab since August, and he's another Italian gentleman. But yeah, listen, Jack Rope, make more of these videos. I understand they're time consuming and difficult to make, but I need them. I need them into my veins. But yeah, he's on Instagram, YouTube. I went to his YouTube and I was checking him out there. So yeah.
Yeah, I realized finally where I remembered the name from, because it stuck with me. When I did the Fruit Lab Partners and Awards, his very first video, Han Solo Move, it's like a Star Wars Battlefront mashup video. It actually won an award, and that is a mark of the quality of his content. His very first video on the platform was an award winner.
I went back. Yeah, and I went back and I watched that one, and that one made me laugh just as much as the other one, dude. They're so good. They're just very quality movie mashup montage. Other M words that fit into this description. But yeah, Jack Rope, keep doing what you're doing. Do it more often, because I want to see some more of this quality stuff. Yeah, and if you got quality videos, let us know. Send us a DM. We will feature you in the content creator of the week spot. If you're putting out quality stuff, that's also, we want to see something that moves us emotionally, physically. We want to be moving.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's put an end to this, just like we did 2021. Let's get the hell out of here. My name is Erock the Red. This guy is Full Clip. Go follow us on Fruit Lab. You can also check him out on Twitch as FullClip_FL. I'm not on Twitch, but I am on YouTube. It's Pop Culture Playground on YouTube, as well as Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, keep on playing sweet games. Keep doing what you're doing. Watch Gaming News Weekly every week. You can listen to it on podcast services anywhere. And let us know what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show. We like the interaction with our fans, so keep that coming. And what do you got to add, mister?
Absolutely. Well, if you think your content is up to snuff and you want to be considered for Content Creator of the Week, send us DM and we'll check it out. We'll let you know, as soon as you're featured.
Absolutely, yes. That's huge. And all right. Well, let's put an end to this. 2021 is out. 2022 is in. And we will see you guys next week for more Gaming News Weekly. Thank you.
Have a good one.